Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Steelers preseason game number 1 comes up Saturday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. It's not just the NFL guys that are getting going either. All the camps in college football are open. In fact, the Gators have been practicing now for over a week, going into Billy Napier's 4th season as the head coach. Let's talk to a man that was an All-American at the University of Florida. He then went on to play 6 years in the National Football League, one of the best receivers to ever play in Gainesville. Reidel Anthony, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Reidel, it's been a little while, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it has been a while. I'm happy we finally have gotten back together and able to talk some sports. And I see you've been doing a great job recently and continue your success.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's been a busy time of year. And I want to get to a couple of topics with you, but let's begin with your bread and butter. As I mentioned, you were an All-American at the University of Florida. Billy Napier entering year number 4 on the job at your alma mater. Reidel, what is your thought about Billy Napier heading into his 4th season in Gainesville?
I think he's doing a great job, and he's sticking to his process. You know, he's getting guys in there that fit, the type of program he's trying to build there in Gainesville, and it seems to be coming together. In sports nowadays, especially, football, no matter what level it is, you have to have a quarterback. And he seems to find his quarterback that fits his system. And this year did a great job of going out and getting, a good young group of receivers. And the backfield, they're going to be 2 years in. So it should be, skill-wise, definitely an upgrade in Gainesville. You just got to get the O-line.
I've talked to a lot of alumni at Florida recently, Ben Troop, D. Webb, a couple other guys as well. And the vibe I've gotten from them is they like Billy Napier maybe a little bit more than the fan base does. Theatric Faison was another one I've talked to recently. Are you in that boat? Are you a little higher on Billy than maybe some of the Gator fans are?
Yeah, and, I think it's his, personality or his demeanor. Outside looking in, you'll think he's not approachable. But once you meet him or whatnot, he's a great person. He knows a lot about, obviously, football, and he'll take the time to explain to you what his goals are, or what the team is expecting, what his expectations. And he's always been cool towards me. And, the guy is fighting for his life every day. He can't please everybody. Every day he wake up, he got to find a way to make sure the Florida Gators football team wins. So if he come off a little standoffish, hey, I think the person that feel that way need to go look at themselves or try to put themselves in a position of the job he has.
Couple of more for Reidel Anthony. Was an All-American wide receiver at the University of Florida. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. You mentioned quarterback. You obviously played with a great quarterback in Danny Warfel. They hope DJ Lagway down there in Gainesville can be the next in line. Some injury concerns this offseason, Reidel, no doubt about that. But assuming Lagway's healthy, I imagine you have to like what you see from the Gator sophomore quarterback.
Oh, definitely. And, the injury stuff is, I would not have any concern with that young man. He's 19 years old, and he's probably in the best shape of his life. And, the injury is going to happen, and especially when they say nagging. I mean, the guy's a specimen. He don't care a lot of body fat. So any little thing he does going to bring on the nagging injuries. So I wouldn't be concerned with that. But, hey, I am more than happy with our quarterback situation, especially the starter in Lagway. And I feel like he's going to grow a lot this year, realizing some of those off-balance throws don't work in the SEC, like in high school. And, once he settles down and just do more of the simple plays, like hit the check down, hit the shallow cross, take what the defense gives you, he's going to grow a lot. And I just feel like that's probably the only part of his game. And all young quarterbacks struggle with always trying to make the big play, struggle getting out of the pocket and delivering the ball. But once he figure out, hey, at this point, I should have run it. At this point, no, I can still make the throw. That's when you're going to see a huge difference in his success on the field.
Reidel, final Florida question. Not many ever did it better than you did at the wide receiver position there in Gainesville. And there's 3 youngsters this year, true freshmen. You got Vernell Brown the third. You got Nashawn Montgomery. You got Dallas Wilson. There actually are a couple of more guys, but those are the 3 I want to pinpoint. How challenging is it to go from the guy your senior year of high school? I mean, those guys were darn near unstoppable last year at their high schools, to now being a freshman in the SEC. That's got to be a big-time change for those guys this year, correct?
Oh, yeah, because, it's only one ball. And now you're going to college where, like you said, every guy in that room was the best player on their team, which that's what made great football teams, the competition amongst yourself. If you go out and you compete every day of the week against, the best players in the country, and you go play someone else, it's not that difficult. And that was, our mindset when I was at Florida with Coach Spurrier. Shoot, you're like, our practice is going to be hard in the game, so I need y'all to really focus in on practice. So that's why we practice hard. And as they say, iron sharpens iron, or whatever the saying is. That is the key. And with all these young men coming in with all the accolades from high school, which, hey, you leave there. I don't care what you did in high school, because now you're playing on Saturday. Whether you're able to produce. And, I think Napier and Billy G is going to do a good job of bringing them in slowly, but putting them in a position to be successful. Brown is a catch and run kid, hard to tackle. Montgomery more big body. He can stretch the field, even do more intermediate routes. And, Dallas can do it all. So to get them going and get them settled quick, hey, just run some route combinations, run stuff that they comfortable in running, let them touch the ball, and then their confidence shoot up quicker.
Final moments with former Gator All-American wide receiver Reidel Anthony. Reidel, in the time we have left here in Jacksonville, we got quite the specimen for the Jaguars, and his name is Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to play both sides of the ball, and he's serious about that. The Jaguars are serious about it. He's going to have apparently major roles at both wide receiver and defensive back. Now, you yourself were a terrific athlete in college. You don't be an All-American if you're not a terrific athlete. But can you imagine in the NFL a full workload at both wide receiver and defensive back? How is Travis Hunter going to do this?
Hey, that's a great question. They decide what side he gonna start on first? That's the question.
I think wide receiver. He's listed as a starter at wide receiver, and he's listed as a second string defensive back right now. Okay.
So, yeah, you can make that work. I mean, if you're going to start at receiver, then if you want to play him at DB, he could be a nickelback. And that just, third and fourth downs, second and long. So he won't get too many plays on defense. But from looking at the young man, he's a freak. Like, it seems like he don't never get tired. He can run for days, and he got plenty of energy. As long as he's not hurting the team, I say let him go at it. Let him do it. And just play him, at nickel. Put him inside. where he just covering a tight end or a slot receiver. And then, see how that goes. But I don't see, him playing 4 quarters at receiver and even 2 quarters at an outside cornerback position. That's a lot. That's a whole lot to ask of somebody, because it ain't just the physical part. It's, he got to know where to line up. He got to know if the receiver line up a certain way. So it ain't just the physical part. Just mentally, it will be a grind for him.
In your prime at Florida, 96, or your rookie year with Tampa, 97, I mean, back when you were in the best shape of your life, could you have done that? Could you have done wide receiver and DB?
Yeah. But like I say, I just was a cover corner. I wasn't trying to hit nobody now. You put me in man to man, they'll tell you, man to man, I was shut down. But, hey, all that coming up in cover 2 and supporting the run, that's when I drew the line. I'm like, hey, I cover. I'm not with all that tackling. But, yeah, especially like I say, if you just kind of do nickel, dime, and you just come there and you guard a guy for 1 or 2 plays, and then you remove yourself, because, here in Tampa, we ran the ball 69% of the time. So it wasn't like I would run a lot of routes. So I just was blocking or cut blocking. So it wasn't that much energy being used during, that time of the game. So, but I think he can do it, especially, you just put him in there on 3rd down, or worry about 1st and 2nd down. And, at wide receiver, how much they going to throw it to him. So, there's so many different ways to look at it.
It'll be fascinating to see, no question about it. Reidel Anthony was an All-American at the University of Florida, went on to have a 6-year NFL career as well. Reidel, appreciate the time. Thank you as always. Let's talk again soon, pal.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Hacker here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video on the 1010XL Gator channel. Be sure and like, subscribe, and keep it locked right here on all the 1010XL YouTube channels on the 1010XL YouTube network.